All right, here we are back again. Yeah. Tell me if the audio is messed up.
Yeah, we're still kind of messing with this audio.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like I said, why I had to change the settings all of a sudden because they were fine before. But you know how shit happens.
Yeah, so this is a flick review. It's probably a flick. Is it a flick or is it a movie, Jenny?
It's somewhere between flick and movie. I guess I would put it in somewhere in that gray area.
I didn't get to see it.
I think you saw parts of it, but you were kind of in
busy,
and out.
I think, at the time.
Well, you were out in the gym or something.
Was that all right? Yeah, yeah.
Because I said, well, we have to watch a new movie for the review, and then you just went out in the gym.
I said I don't want to hear that shit. Right? Yeah. I probably didn't hear it.
So I said, okay, well, I'll just watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another new one. Actually, like Netflix has been adding a lot of new horror movies. I guess because like October is coming up. So this is another kind of a ghost story, urban legendy kind of Asian horror film called The Bridge Curse. This is actually from Taiwan. This one, you know what's really weird is I was watching this movie and I'm imagining, I don't know because I'm not from an Asian country, but I'm imagining that some of the urban legends that were talked about in that Korean movie we were talking about the other day, Goadam, that anthology, because one of them in particular like turned up in this movie too in almost the exact same iteration, which I thought was very strange.
Yeah.
There was like one scene near the end of The Bridge Curse where these two girls are like running downstairs like in a school or a dorm or something, and they keep like repeating the same, like they're in the stairwell between the second and third floor, and then they keep repeating it like they can't go down anymore. Yeah. And the same thing happened in Goadam, which I thought was so that must be a thing.
Yeah, it must be like an urban legend or something that they have, or just a traditional
That's
myth.
what I'm thinking.
The thing is, though, is that was Korean, and this one here looked like it was Taiwanese.
It is Taiwanese.
It is? Okay, because there was now that you're talking about it, it's coming back to me. Which one it was? It was typical upper middle quality Asian production. You know, like a good Korean movie. That's what it looked like, and the tone. Very much just like a Korean horror movie, really. But it's Taiwan.
Yeah, and like I said, if you're into Asian horror, you probably like this. It's nothing special. It's like nothing, to write home about. But it was, it's pretty entertaining. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was well shot. It was kind of like, how much they love to do like the urban legend, the ghost story type of stuff. This is basically based around an urban legend that there's this bridge. And this girl was on the bridge and like her boyfriend broke up with her or something and she jumped off or something like that. And now like her spirit haunts the bridge. So like what you do is you go to the bridge at midnight and there's 13 steps there. But at midnight when you walk up them, there's actually 14 steps. Like there's an extra. And so you walk up the steps and then if you turn around, then the ghost kills you. So basically there's a whole bunch, and I didn't really twig onto this until like a little bit into the movie because the beginning of it is a little scattershot because it kind of starts out as like a found footagey type of thing. So it's kind of like found footage, but then there's like it's like a regular movie in there too. So it kind of goes back and forth between the two things. So apparently what's going on is that there's a group of students who are live streaming being out there and like doing this urban legendy thing, which you're not supposed to do. And then there's like also an overlapping timeline of like a journalist in 2020 who is going back and like researching these student deaths that happened. There was one that happened in 2016 and one that happened in 2012. And then like as it goes on, it gets like more and more complicated. And I was getting confused as to like what year we were in because it kept like switching back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Eastern storytelling is a little different. It's not the normal 3-act thing. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes it's just like watching anime. Sometimes that shit gets a little convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, I'd figured it out by the end, but it wasn't to the same extent of like say the original Grudge or something like that where it was just like cyclical. It was a little bit like that because like at the beginning they kind of show like this found footage part of these particular students, and it was I think it was 2012, like the first students and them doing it, and then like later on they kind of showed it again but from their perspective instead of from the outside perspective of the live stream. So I was sitting there going, wait a second, this happened already? Like what's now we're seeing it from like a little different, I don't know, it was really weird. So it like took me kind of a little while to like catch the wave of it, I guess. But after I got into it, like I said, it wasn't, I didn't love it, but it was like entertaining enough for me to like sit through the whole thing and like, see what was going to happen at the end. Had kind of a little bit of a twist ending, but I think I kind of called it. So
yeah, I like I said, I had other things going on at the time, but I did sample the quality. It's typical East Asian decent stuff. I don't want to talk bad about it. There's problems with them. They kind of look Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and even China. Kind of they kind of fall and they kind of fall into the same trap that the fucking Italians used to fall into, where they do something good and they say, "Oh, you like that? Well, we'll do that again." "Oh, you like that? Well, we'll do that again. We'll do it again." So they end up being kind of samey.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with these movies. Even though they're from totally different countries, it feels like the same movie.
Well, I mean, I guess
it looks like
they have like a lot of the same folklore and a lot of similar legends, and they like movies based on urban legends and based on these particular like kind of folkloric ghost stories. So I can see how there's a lot of overlap. It might be too, and I'm not. Maybe somebody that has lived in Asia or knows anything about it, their film industry can tell me. But it could be that those are just the ones that are selling to U.S. markets,
right?
So it might be there might be like a whole panoply of like different types of movies over there, but it's like they don't really sell them because U.S. horror audiences tend to like the Asian films that are like Asian and horror-y.
Yeah, so they're gonna get the Asian-y ones.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or the ones that are most like the with the ghost girl with the long hair and shit. I don't know if that's the case, but like I said, it might be like a biased sample.
I think it might be a biased sample. I don't know, but like I can, the Korean zombie movies are all kind of feeling a little samey. The ones that were happening in the medieval Korean times. Did you notice that? They were all felt the same. That's
really weird because we did like two different ones.
Yeah.
One of them was a series. Yeah. And then one of them was a movie.
There were differences in quality. We liked the series best.
I did like the series better.
The movies weren't as good.
Yeah, the movie was good, but it wasn't as good. Yeah. But it's really weird that it was like so similar and it came out like around the same time. Like it had almost the same. It was like thematically, it was the same. It was set at the same time period. Yeah. It had like a lot of the same. It was just really weird, and I don't know if they did that on purpose or
you don't know if it's like you said, sample bias or what. It's just that you never really see anything come out of left field, and when it does, it stands out. And then it seems like a bunch of other ones come out that are kind of based on that.
Yeah.
Coming from left. It's almost kind of like they're following trends.
Well, yeah, which U.S. movies do too. I mean, every country's movies do that.
But it feels like it's real strong.
Yeah.
From that part of the world, like something becomes a fad, and then for a couple years, maybe even in a decade, they're all kind of like that. At least the ones we're getting.
Which is weird because it seems like the Asian horror boom was kind of like 90s, early 2000s, like particularly after The Ring came out, like Ringu and the original Grudge and stuff like that. So I do feel like, but it's still kind of hitting that same stuff where it's like, they're always kind of like revenge stories, urban legend stories. Like the ghost is almost always like a girl or a woman, like with long black hair and like a nightgown and
black eyes
and like all wet and shit, I
remember one time a Japanese one came out from left field. It's called Tetsuya Iron Man. When it first came out, it was like, wow, what the fuck was that?
That's in our box.
Is it?
For one of these.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what the fuck is that?
We'll review it one of these days.
I never really saw a copy of that. Maybe they did start copying that, but maybe it never became a trend in Japan, but that one stood out. That was like something that, like that was almost kind of like something out of, I don't know.
Did you ever see Uzumaki?
No.
That was kind of cool. That was based on a manga, but it was it was like it was real weird and like real unsettling. It was basically about a town that was obsessed and or possessed by spirals.
Right.
It was a little bit Lovecraftian, I have to say, but
remember that one that came from Thailand, and it was kind of out of left field. I enjoyed it. It was real low budget, but it had a lot of heart, and it was about that damn Thailand or that Thai vampire where it was a vampire woman. Her head would come
and her
off
head comes off.
And
yeah,
flying by.
I love that. That's like probably my favorite world legend.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Because that's so fucking bizarre.
don't remember the name of it.
I can't remember the name of it either. I think we reviewed it.
It was low budget as hell, but it was like, it was awesome. Dude, that fucking head
it's like her head pops off with like all the shit dragging off of it and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like,
terrible CG.
That's messed up.
I remember having terrible CG. Maybe it wasn't as bad as
it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't all that great.
It was like on par of like fucking, you know what I mean, Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
But it was good. It's almost kind of like, what's that studio that did Nazis in the Center of the Earth and all the
Asylum?
Asylum, like an Asylum flick.
Yeah. It was about that quality.
Yeah.
Which, it's not terrible, but it's not the best.
Yeah. But it was foreign and it was well written.
Yeah.
So,
Mark asks, is Koyaanisqatsi a film? Yeah, I would call that a film. I like Koyaanisqatsi, though. Yeah. And then Beth says, what is it with Asian horror and water, though? See, that's another thing that I've wondered. And there was a large water component in the bridge curse, too. Not only because it was a bridge, which is over water, but all of the, if you, like, got killed by the curse, like, basically, they would find you, like, drowned. Like, somewhere, like, one dude was, like, drowned in a bucket. Like, one woman was drowned in, like, one of those big, like, water tanks, like fucking Elisa Lam was, and stuff like that. So, and there's always that thing with, like, all the big black hair, like, coming out of the drain. And what do they have against women with long black hair?
Oh, they all have long black hair, probably.
That's what I'm saying.
And it probably goes down in the drain, and they got to clean hairballs out all the time.
Well, mine does that, too.
And
it's
it
like
probably upsets them. I just put Drano down in there, though.
I know. That's what. Well, there was one scene in the bridge curse where, like, the guy was like, he dropped his necklace and it went down the drain. Like all the spigots came on, like in the bathroom, and he dropped his necklace down in the water and he was like trying to get it and it was going down the drain. And then he pulls up this big thing of black hair, and I was like, big deal. That's like my shower like every day. So. Because of this fucking mop up here, and like fucking tons of it fall out. So it's like, that's not scary to me. Well, it's scary in the sense that I don't want to clean it, but it's not scary as in like haunting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, if you like Asian horror, like I said, it's kind of more of the same. But if you're in the mood for that, then you could certainly do a lot worse. I thought it was pretty entertaining. It's had some kind of creepy shit going on in it. So this isn't like too long today, just because we have a bunch of other stuff we got to do. So we'll cut it short, I guess, a little bit early. But we will be back tomorrow, probably talking about another movie, because I found one on Tubi that looks very interesting that I kind of want to watch later on. And hopefully that's good. We talked about it. It looked kind of cool. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. So we will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Oh, I forgot. We got a new patron.
Okay.
Named Shae-Nicole. So
right.
we just got her come on today. She
Thanks,
sent me a
Shae.
very nice message. So thank you very much. I'm so glad I remembered to say that before we ended it. Although I probably would have remembered more. But yeah, so we will talk to you guys again tomorrow. And thanks for stopping by as usual. Bye.